Howdy, folks. I'm the Dread Pirate Roberts.
I'm Amber.
Penelope. And here's a peanut. Our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for canceling my niece's trip to Hawaii for sending an illicit substance via USPS? I'm a 56-year-old and I have one niece, R, who's an 18-year-old female. R graduated from high school and was offered a scholarship in the town that I live in, approximately 650 miles away. Different state. R didn't want to stay in the dorms, but as a freshman, she was required to stay in the dorms or live with a family member. The cost of the dorm and the meal plan wasn't completely covered by the scholarship, so I felt pressured to say that she could live with me and save them from having to take out a loan. My mother lives 10 miles away from me, but my mother didn't offer because my mother is a lot smarter than I am. Things went bad from day one. R and sister-in-law arrive and we start a visit for a bit. I learned that in the first 30 minutes that my sister-in-law, 1, had told my niece that I was a pot smoker. Apparently, my niece does as well. 2, had told my niece that I would get her pot for her. And 3, that my niece was also now smoking cigarettes. I was mad. I was mad about all of this. I complied with none of it. School starts, R mentions pot a few times, and I ignore her. Soon, R is talking about having pot sent to her home via USPS. I said absolutely not. We have a discussion about why that's a bad idea. Hard no. Christmas comes, she flies home for the holiday. My husband surprises the family with a trip to Hawaii for Christmas. The dates are in March. It's during R's spring break, and he got her a ticket as well. R is beyond thrilled. R comes back after Christmas a few days later. I notice that she's acting shady, peering out the window a lot, like she's expecting somebody. Later that afternoon, she comes and shows me a baggie of pot, and I realize that she had been waiting for USPS, and she had mailed herself pot to my house. After I told her that she couldn't, I take the pot, and then I go to her room and look for the packaging. And I see my name is the only one on there. The package was addressed to me. No return address. I asked her who sent her the package. She says her mother did. The story is that R was afraid to take it on the plane, so she asked her mother to mail it to her, and her mother did. I confront her mother about it, furious. The two of them were purposely vague with their answers. I could never pin down who addressed the package. My sister-in-law says she asked R if there was pot in the package, and R told her no. Sister-in-law drove around with her in the car a few days, no odor, so she mailed it. Never opened it. I doubt this is the whole story. At this point, I take away R's trip to Hawaii. She weeps uncontrollably, making sure I can hear her through the wall. Angry phone calls are exchanged. Her parents are angry I've taken the trip away, and they think I'm making a big deal out of nothing. I make R move out and move into the dorms, with her parents footing the bill. And they have all quit speaking to me, and are acting like I'm the problem. My mother takes their side and is mad at me because now the holidays are going to be difficult. Thinks that I should have taken at least one for the team. I don't think I'm the one who was out of line, but I am now the one excluded. Am I the jerk? Edit. When I brought this up to my brother, the sister-in-law's husband, he told me that sister-in-law takes care of the raising. I try to stay out of it. Obvious where the niece gets it from. Although he was more than willing to be in on it when he didn't have to pay for the dorm room or a meal plan. The Hawaii vacation and the whole problem took place in 2017, although they're still not speaking to me in 2021. I'm bringing it up now after a recent conversation about Thanksgiving plans dug back out into conversation. All right. Well, what do you folks think?
Not the jerk.
Amber says not the jerk. I'm inclined to say that this person is not the jerk. It seems like the niece knew what she was doing when she addressed the package. She didn't address it to herself. If she was really not worried about the consequences that might arise from this, then she would have addressed it to herself. But it's clear that, she thought there might be some kind of consequence, especially since they already had a conversation about why mailing it through USPS would be a bad idea. So here's the thing is I think that this, OP here is kind of caught up in a bad situation. I know it sounds like this happened a few years ago, but it's just one of those things where I think that OP did the right thing under the circumstances, because if the niece had gotten away with it this one time, there's nothing to say that she wouldn't have done it multiple times, and that would have put OP in a pretty bad position, especially if it did get, intercepted by the feds. So, yeah, I mean, federal prison is a pretty bad place to be, I hear, and I don't think OP wants to visit that. Plain and simple. And, again, who mails themselves pot? Like, why didn't she just buy it? I'm sure she could have bought it in the area. I mean, it's for sale in a lot of places. It's not even an illegal substance in most states, though still illegal at the federal level. So, I think that this is a bit of a odd situation. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the Jerk and their carelessness leads me to believe that if they had been busted, they would have easily left you on the hook for criminal charges. It costs nothing to obey the rules of people's houses. And OP replies, the addressing on the package was fairly clear indicator of where they intended to place the blame if it had become a problem. Nobody in my family seems to understand this is a felony, punishable with jail time, which is a federal offense and you will serve every single day of it. Well, I guess not nobody. My sister-in-law and niece understand perfectly. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Cousin Don't Bother Applying to Harvard? They're going to take one look at your application and throw it in the reject pile. My cousin is a 17-year-old male and is a senior in high school, and he just started college application process. I'm a 20-year-old male and I only see him during the holidays, so we're not particularly close. When I was in the middle of a very nasty problem set, he texted me and asked for advice on preparing for his Harvard application. I think he wanted to ask me for advice in particular because I'm currently attending an Ivy League school. I asked him for his GPA, his class rank, and his extracurricular activities. He said that his GPA was a 365. His class rank was 125 out of 491. And he doesn't do anything after school except play Valorant and League. I tried dissuading him by saying that Ivies routinely reject people with perfect GPAs, and he didn't get the hint and asked me if I could take a look at his first draft. I was already in not a so great mood after being interrupted, so I straight up told him, look, when I was a freshman, my roommate was an international mathematics Olympiad medalist, and the guy across the hall was ranked 6th nationally in his sport. That's the kind of caliber of people that you'll be competing with. So don't bother applying to Harvard. They're going to take one look at your application and throw it in the reject pile. I turned my phone off and went back to my problem set. Well, I woke up to a barrage of texts from my aunt and uncle. They said my response was beyond rude and made my cousin extremely upset, as he had been dreaming about Harvard for the past 5 years. What a simpleton. I told my aunt and uncle that it was about time that someone gave him a reality check, the dirty plebe. So, what do you folks think? Not the Jerk or the Jerk?
Jerk.
I just started reading this one. It just kept getting more and more extreme. And like, we're going to go all into this. We're leaning into it. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I didn't know that I was going to make a voice on this one. Oh my goodness, OP. Just give him some advice. Does it really take 5 minutes out of your day to help him out? No. He would have gotten a reality check from Harvard. I think that you are a jerk in this situation. So yeah, why be so pretentious about it? Like, you could have just said, no, I'm sorry, I don't have time. You could have just simply rejected it with that. And said, I'm sorry, I wish I could, but honestly, I just don't have time right now, and it's going to take me too long to get back to you. But instead, no, what you did was you're like, oh, I'm going to compare you to all these other great people who go to this Ivy League school and completely tear you down and be like, look, you're a piece of garbage. Don't bother applying. So yeah, that's a really rude and mean thing to do. So yeah, just because it's true doesn't mean that you aren't a jerk. You're the jerk. Look, I went to an Ivy that rhymes with Barvard. there's no way your cousin is getting in. So the comments stating that it's not impossible and he can pull his grades up are incorrect. That said, you are the jerk as soon as you told him that his application would be thrown into the trash. You may have known the outcome as well as I do, but when he asked you to look at his draft, to avoid being a jerk, you should have just told him the other truth, that you are busy with schoolwork and that while you wish him a luck, his school counselor is in the best position to help. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for rejecting a boyfriend's request to propose at my wedding? My husband and I, a 30-year-old male, a 27-year-old female, got married last month and had a small and wonderful wedding. 2 weeks before the wedding, my best friend and maid of honor, 28-year-old female, boyfriend is a 27-year-old male, asked if it would be okay to propose during my reception. I first told him how thrilled I was that he would be proposing to my friend and how excited she would be, but I really wasn't comfortable with him proposing during the wedding, at least as a public thing. He seemed totally shocked that I said no, which I can understand. He said that weddings are supposed to be about a celebration of love, and that as his girlfriend's best friend, I should want them to finally be engaged after 11 years together. I absolutely want that for them, but I just don't understand why it needed to happen during the 5.5 hour window of my ceremony, cocktail hour, and reception. I was very apologetic, and I offered to help however I could with the proposal on any other day, but he was clearly not happy with me. I hadn't heard from the maid of honor since the wedding, which was probably the longest we've ever gone without talking. I had tried several times to get in touch with her and let her know at one point that I had something of hers that she had lost at the wedding. Never any response. I texted her the other day I was going to drop off the lost item at her house so she'd have it, and she finally responded. Apparently during the after party at the hotel bar, maid of honor's boyfriend got very drunk and told her that she would have been engaged that night if I hadn't ruined the plan. She said she wasn't exactly mad at me, but she feels like her future engagement is ruined and that I denied her a chance at happiness. I told her I was very sorry and the conversation ended pretty awkwardly. Another mutual friend who knows what's going on says that she doesn't love that he planned to propose at the wedding, but thinks I was a jerk for ultimately saying no. So, okay, OP, you know what happened here? You're not at fault. I don't think that you're a jerk. He approached you, and I think he knew he was going to get rejected, and that's why he asked you if he could propose at the wedding, because he knew that this was probably not going to be the best opportune time, and this was a kind of a way for him to defer blame on not proposing. And then getting drunk at the after party and blaming you was all part of it. So, I don't know, maybe I'm being cynical. Maybe I've read too many Reddit posts. Am I being cynical? I don't know. Amber, am I being cynical?
That's literally what one of the top comments was.
Are you kidding me?
No.
You know, I love it whenever the top comment says exactly what I'm thinking. I rarely read the comments, but beforehand, so it's always interesting when that's the case. So let's go down to the comments then. You should reply back, a man that really wants to marry you will make the effort to do so. He won't base your future together on usurping someone else's celebration. I'm very sorry that you think that I ruined your chance at happiness. I'm sorrier that you think that your happiness depends on a proposal from a man who's putting in the bare minimum effort to plan a life with you. After 11 years and asking to propose at a wedding, which sane people know is a no, I'm wondering if the boyfriend was using this as a reason not to do it and cast the blame elsewhere. That's what I think. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not giving away my jewelry? I'm a 34-year-old female, and my brother, a 30-year-old male, recently announced his engagement to his longtime girlfriend. She's really nice, and we are happy for them. We're not very traditional family, so similar to my engagement. He didn't get down on one knee and present a ring. Instead, he had an open conversation with her. Backstory, when my parents got engaged, my mom didn't want an engagement ring. Instead, my dad got her a beautiful pair of emerald earrings. She lost one of them at one point and was devastated. So my dad got her an identical pair. For my bat mitzvah, they took a single earring from the original pair and made a necklace with it. 22 years later, I still have it. but I cannot wear it as often as I'm allergic to yellow gold. I've tried every trick out there. I still can't wear it for more than a few hours here and there. It's sentimental nonetheless. My mom gifted my brother replacement earrings, and he planned to make an engagement ring with the stones. My mom then reached out to me and asked me to give them the charm with the original earring. Here's where I might be the jerk. I told her that she should be ashamed of herself for even asking, that just because I can't wear it as frequently as other pieces doesn't mean that I don't cherish it and enjoy wearing it when I can. She told me I was selfish for hanging on to it, but at the end of the day, I barely have any heirloom jewelry to begin with, so why would I give this one up? Alright, OP, I think that you could have phrased it a little bit better. But I don't think that you're the jerk in this situation for wanting to hang on to a sentimental piece of jewelry. I think that it was a little off for them to ask you for this. But I think that, I don't know, asking for it was probably a little taboo, especially since this was a gift for your bat mitzvah. So, I don't know. What do you folks think?
Not the jerk.
Amber says not the jerk. So, their position is that your brother should get all 3 heirloom pieces, and you should get nothing despite being the first one gifted with a piece. Are they trying to disown you or something? Not the jerk. And OP replies, right, I have 2 pieces from my grandmother, but the emerald is the only thing that I was given directly from my mom. I told the bride that I would be glad to let my grandmother's pearl necklace be something that she borrowed. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.